My name's Tony Cody, and I am an addict. I done met about like 9 Tonys since I've been here, so just in case something happened when we on our way back to Augusta, if y'all watching the news and y'all hear say, his identification said it's Tony Cody, y'all know they talking about this Tony. And so y'all don't have to worry about when you get to the hospital talking about, can you tell us what Tony C at? Ask for Tony Cody. I have no problem with anonymity in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. If you don't know who I am, then I might not get to know who I am because y'all don't know who I am. And so I have no problem with anonymity. You can call me by my first name, my last name, or you can call me Addy. You know, I have a better understanding about myself today, and so what y'all say about me usually cause concern within me to look at me. Because y'all usually don't talk about nothing I ain't doing. You know, addicts tend to want to get into the, they say these things about me, or they say these things about her, or they say these things about them. You know, a lot of what we say about each other in Narcotics Anonymous has a whole lot to do with what we do in Narcotics Anonymous. And so my gratitude speaks when I care and I share the NA way. If you hadn't learned the NA way to share, then why would we expect for you to share that way? Most addicts want you to come right in, sharing like they share, caring like they care, and it's just not possible. It's just not possible. I came from the streets. I ain't want to talk about recovery. I want to talk about how much dope I had did. I thought I had did some dope. I want to talk about how much time I did in the penitentiary. I wanted to talk about how many failed relationships. Not in the way of failure was I looking at it. I didn't learn I had failed at them until I got into the step process and saw how many I had been in. Once I saw how many I had been in, there was some semblance that something wasn't right. And I would always think that it was because of them that we weren't together no more until I actually got into the step process. Then I became grateful for knowing that it had a whole lot more to do with me than it did them. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm not one of those people who use the word grateful very, very lightly. I hate to hear people come into meetings, and they claim to be grateful recovering addicts. This week and next week they picking up a white chip. What happened to the gratitude? What happened to the gratitude? I know that I didn't get me here. It was a series of events that transpired in my life long before I ever picked up any dope that was going to lead me to the dope, and the dope led me to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I believe that God, he had a plan for me, and it had nothing to do with the things I had planned for myself. I was sitting around and I was watching what's being watched on TV. All the TVs that seen you pass by, and it kind of dawned on me, that our message says that an addict, any addict, can stop using, lose the desire, and find a new way to live. Didn't say the man, the woman, the white man, the black man, the Chinese man, none of that. It said in the addict. And I came in here, and the first 7 days I was here, I didn't introduce myself as an addict because my identification of an addict wasn't none of y'all, it was always the man I saw gnawed, somewhat disarrayed all the time. And I learned that word in Narcotics Anonymous, disarrayed, and that means that, you disheveled, disarrayed. That's, come on, I'm trying to be politically correct here. Y'all say something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, they be talking about, how you say things in the fellowship, usually dictate where you go. And I just came in talking about dope. That's all I knew. I ain't know nothing about no spiritual principles. I mean, what principle that you need to practice, the hustle, to get high. By the time I made it to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, I wasn't even hustling no more. I was begging. I was literally begging. And you talk about gratitude. I used to have gratitude for a $2 hit. That was enough for me. A $2 hit. Some smoke behind somebody else hit. Just let me get some smoke and I'll be grateful. Then we come in here and we start sharing with people about, what it was like for us, and they tend to want to look at it lightly, and you get what you get when you don't do what we do. My clean date is 1/7/93. I hadn't found it necessary to use since that day, and I know that, that's only because mostly what I do in Narcotics Anonymous, somebody showed me how to do it. They suggested I do it, but then they also showed me how to do it. And so the people that I sponsor today, if I suggest you do 90 meetings in 90 days, I'm hoping I can be there at least 85. I'm hoping I can be there at least 85. I don't want you to go on the pretense that because I did it when I got here, that you got to do it. Most of what happens in a real good way in Narcotics Anonymous, it comes from us showing each other how to do things. We like to tell people what to do, suggest things to people to do, and when they don't do it the way we do it, now we don't really want to mess with them no more, But I'm grateful today that I have enough courage to talk about me today, because all before I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I blamed everything and everybody. Everything and everybody, including my mama. It was her fault. It was her fault. Had never seen her use a day in my life. But it was her fault. I don't know why I came to think like that, but as I got through the step process, I came to a better understanding, about what the real problem was, I'm one of those people who really love the program of Narcotics Anonymous. I feel like I owe this fellowship just based on the fact that I get to experience life today without the use of drugs. Simply that. That's how simple it is for me. I did drugs in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s. I got clean in 93. So when I look out there and I see somebody look like they were born in 88, I'm gonna be like, damn, I was getting high before she was born or he was born, and I'm still here to talk about it because a lot of people that I use with, they ain't living today, I used to think that I got away with something, because I didn't die or didn't overdose, and all I had to do was make it to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, and I had no plans to come here, none whatsoever. I wasn't looking for a way not to get high. I got to a point, where it seemed like nothing I did ever amounted to anything. Nothing I did. I mean, on the days I thought I was doing good, if I put 2 days in a row without using, I thought I was well on my way, but then I'll go up here and I'll come down with something and I'll put it into action and I'll be right back at square zero. I don't talk about the disease of addiction a whole lot. Because my disease, the one that I have, I don't suffer from it unless I choose to. I know I got it, and I know it needs me in order to function. If I don't participate, it don't escalate. I promise you that. Nothing escalates if I don't participate. It's just when I go up here and it seems good to me, or it sounds good to me as I talk to me, then if I don't involve y'all in it, then y'all see the results of what I came down with. And y'all be like, well, damn. And then I'm going to get mad when y'all know I did it. You ever seen addicts like that? If you've been here for a while, well, I know we done seen them. They go out and they do some old dumb shit. And then we talk about it, then they get mad like we went with them. Or we suggested they went and go do it. Yeah, man, go ahead, man. Go on out there and drink. Go on out there and drink your near beer, Go on out there. Yeah, go ahead. You married. Yeah, but go on and get you a woman on the side. You know, and then when everything come full force, you know, and everybody talking about it, now all of a sudden, man, I can't stand them motherfuckers in here and that, you know. You know. But how do you not be grateful for the people that help you to see you when you can't even see you? You know, I got mad gratitude for the fellowship. They taught me to try to look to see when I'm trying to get me. I can see me trying to get me now. I be looking, I be like, damn, where that come from? Sometimes when I get paid, I got a wife too. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that, because that's some good shit. Anyway, sometimes when I get paid, right, I'm like one of them people who always like to have money in his pocket for the no reason, period. I mean, I don't do a whole lot other than work, go home, be with my wife, and do the same thing the next day the best I can. But I just like to have money in my pocket. In my disease, it don't say, you know, let's go get no bag of dope or no crack or no shit like that. My disease say, you got a little extra money. You know, I done told myself I got a few extra dollars, you know, and say, well, you know, why don't we buy a lottery ticket? It don't say go spend all your money on the lottery. It say get a $2 ticket. A $2 ticket. I got like $70 in my pocket. I scratched that one ticket and it says $2. I came out even. But now I'm up here. The next one gonna be bigger. No, don't even buy a $2 one no more. Get a $5 ticket. Buy the $5 ticket. It's got ticket on it. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, ma'am. I get a ticket with this and get it to the cashier. She give me another ticket. I say, well, I believe it's something better than them $10 tickets. Now I done went from 2, 5, now I'm at 10. Oh, it's coming, Nate. It's coming. I'm an addict, you know. I'm not making that as an excuse. I don't use being an addict no excuse for behaviors that I'm aware of. That's me. That's me wanting to play the lottery. It ain't my disease. My disease don't play the lottery. I play the lottery. My disease don't want to see me win the lottery. It wants to see me dead. You know, and if I seek the things that my disease want for me, then I experience a death. See, the death that I experience a lot of times don't have nothing to do with laying down dying. It's got to do with that spirit, man. That spirit, you know, and my sponsor, you know I love him to death. He like to preach to me. You got any lapses in your spirituality today? Yeah, you tell me. You know how your sponsor, you know, I got the kind of sponsor you don't really like. You don't never, you know, like, I don't know. I ain't finna describe his ass, you know, because I get it wrong, you know. I'm just glad for him, you know. He one of them people, you know, man, I love him to death because, you know, we never have had a conflict and nothing that he shared with me or suggested that I do, or he looked at I was doing in a way that, you know, he didn't judge me. I want him to judge me. I like it for my sponsor to judge me. I'd rather hear judgment from my sponsor than y'all. Y'all judge me way harshly than my sponsor do. You see what I'm saying? My sponsor pretty much knows who I am and what I'm about. But y'all get to see little glimpses of it. And so when y'all form this idea or opinion of who I am based on what y'all really see from time to time, it might be up here. And it's harder. I mean, the fall is harder from up here than it is from where I really am. you know. And so when we don't take into account that sometimes, you know, people in here, all we trying to do is experience the humanness that's inside of us. You know, I don't look for nothing grand in life, you know. I was telling my wife the other day I thought I wanted a Cadillac. She said, you don't need one. I thought it. She just reminded me I didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? And I know why. She don't like, you know, just spending money frivolously. You know what I'm saying? My wife used words like frivolous spending. What do you talking about? I'm talking about, I just get to cussing sometimes. I'll be like, hey, you talking about? She talking about that's spending unnecessary money. You know, she break it down. And I be laughing a lot of times, but the thing is, I get it. I get it. I get the message. And I learned how to listen for the message and everything. See, because God was doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, even in my using. I didn't know he was going to let me use as long as he allowed me to use. But, you know, by the time I got him, I had done the dope. I had done the dope. I tried again now. Most folks say they relapse. I went back out and reused. I ain't have a 5.5 months. You know what I'm saying? I had 5.5 months clean. I hadn't worked no steps. I wasn't doing nothing the program suggested. I went and reused. You know what I'm saying? And I found out that day that y'all had got in here enough that I heard something going on in here saying, now you know you ain't have to do that. It was okay what was going on up here, but the thing that brought me back to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous was what I was feeling in here. And so I came on back, I picked that white chip up, and I'm still here. I'm still here, you know? So why wouldn't you have gratitude? Why wouldn't you have gratitude? You know, somebody to do the things I did for as long as I got to do them, you know? I thank God every day. You know, them ladies, they was praying up there, and I don't never miss an opportunity to thank my higher power. And they was all, I guess they won a little sponsorship family or something like that, but I don't miss opportunities to thank my higher power. I don't. I'm a praying man. I'm a praying man, and I pray because I don't know what to say sometimes. But if you can just say thank you sometimes, for God, to God for his grace, because it ain't have to be me. It ain't have to be me, but when I think about it is me, I got mad gratitude. Mad gratitude, and so I keep coming. I look for ways to come back to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I hate those days when my schedule doesn't allow me to make my home group. I got the same home group I had since I got here. I've been in the same home group for 19 years. And they trusted me enough when I first got there after coming back from reusing. They said, well, you need to be doing stuff. And I think I had like 4 days clean at the first business meeting I ever went to. And they said, you need to get this key and keep these doors open. I say, get the key? What did y'all tell me? You get paid for that? What, I'm the janitor? And I don't know. Because my first sponsor, he had me emptying ashtrays, sweeping, and setting up chairs. And they was calling that the ABCs. And now I'm emptying ashtrays, setting up the chairs, and stuff like that. Then they give me the key. But it was something about having that key. I know I had to be there. No matter what I was thinking up here, no matter who I passed going. Open the meat. I gotta open the meat. And I'm talking about that's how I stayed clean, because I had to open the damn meat, man. And that's how y'all got me. Gave me a key to open the damn meat. And I still open the meeting today. That's right. I'll still open the meeting today, because when I found out what it takes to be in Narcotics Anonymous, I had it. I got what it takes to be here. I'm an addict. I got what it takes to be here. If you admit to yourself you're an addict, where else do you need to be going? You say you're an addict. Now you trying to find somewhere to go. Narcotics Anonymous.
That's right.
We're an addict. Any addict. Any addict. Man, any addict? You mean any addict? I mean, you mean any addict? Any addict. God damn, man. You ain't got to be special in no kind of way. Huh? What they say? Any addict can come in here and stop using. I stop using in here. I'm talking about stay and stop. I ain't talking about, stop because you ran out of dope and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know how you run out of dope, you be swearing that's it? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about stay and stop. I'm talking about stay and stop coming in here. Coming from a place where, they didn't care about me. I know they didn't care. I got shot 5 times in active addiction. I don't know why. 5 damn times. Say at some point, I'm talking about 5 different times, not 5 times at once. 5 different times. Now, somewhere in there, wouldn't it be like, something ain't right. People keep shooting you. People shooting at you like you target practice and shit, And I remember the one time I got shot, they had me on the news. My mama came rushing right now. She said, well, Tony, why people keep shooting you? I said, Mama, I don't know what's wrong with their ass. I was still blaming things, people, places, and things. Never did dawn on me it was some shit I was doing, you know what I'm saying? Or tried to do, But once I came in here, it became clearer, man. It became clearer. Hadn't got shot in a long time. 19 years. Yeah. I remember when my using was coming up to the end. And I had no idea I was coming to the end of my using, but I had went to my mama and she said, Tony, you know what? If you was to just change the way you live, maybe I can get one good night of sleep. I hadn't had a good night of sleep in so long, I don't even remember the last time I had a good night's sleep. And I was like, well, damn. And I said, I think I'm going to try to get myself together. She said, this ain't that shit you always say, is it? We done heard you say that so many times. Just tell me, Tony, is you really going to try to get yourself together? I said, yes, ma'am, Mama, I am. 36 years old. And have nothing. Nowhere to go but in the dope track. She had been asking me to stop coming to her house. I wouldn't stop when she asked me. She said, Tony, don't bring your ass to my damn house no more. You do, I'm calling the police. Now, I don't know, this is my mama. I don't know where she get the idea that she had to act like other people. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to threaten me. She got to act like other people now. But I knew then that something wasn't right, because all my life, my mama had gave me and did for me everything she could. In any way she could, just so I'd be, she thought I would be okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about money, man. I'm talking about money. I could go to my mama and tell her any lie, and I know in her heart's a heart, she knew it was a lie. I'm talking about $500, $600, thousands of dollars. Just get it. Just get it. Huh? Go ahead. You say you need it, huh? I love you. Here it is. And I would take that money and I'd fuck it up, and I'd come back I'm gonna share this, and I'm gonna get real close to shutting it down. I get real silly when I start talking about the using part of my recovery, the using part of my addiction, because ain't no recovery in that using shit. I promise you that. But anyway, I remember one time I used to always run to my mama's house because she stayed like 5 blocks from where I used that. And so I would catch a ride around them, but I'd run in the house like I've been running. And I'd run straight to the window, you know, and act like somebody chasing me. And she'll say, well, why in the hell you over there at the damn window? You just got in here. Mama, they trying to kill me. I say, she say, who trying to kill you? I say, them dope boys. She say, well, why you keep fucking with them with their dope? I say, Mama, I'm on it bad. She say, well, damn, don't you think you ought to get out? Yeah. I say, they say they gonna kill me if I don't give them their $300. She say, I ain't got it. I say, Mama, I need $300. They say they gonna kill me if I don't bring them their money. She said, well, let me go in here and make some phone calls. She act like she going in there to make a phone call. My mama keep her money in the house. She ain't one of them people, you know. And she come back out, she say, take these damn $300 and you go around there and pay them damn people, and you better leave them people stuff alone. They gonna kill your ass. About a month later, that one came back to me. Go to Mama and see, can you get some money? I ran to my mama's house, did the same little thing. She said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. If they out there again, you take your ass out there by that driveway, stand at the end of my driveway, so if they do a drive-through, they'll shoot your ass. Miss Lucille say, no, they ain't doing no drive-through by him. They ain't gonna shoot in here and hit me. You go stand at the end of my driveway so they can shoot your ass, you know. And so a little bit after that, you know, I was real close to the end of my use, and I got clean, and I went to her and I said, look here, Mama, I've been doing good. I've been going to meetings and everything. I think I want to go back to school. She said, if you do, then we'll get you in school. You know, I'm 36 years old. I ain't even got resources to help my damn self. But I got her. And she ain't never had conditions on loving me. And I learned to recognize that in her. And when I got him, I was able to recognize it in y'all. Yeah. And all y'all said was, if you don't use, you'll be all right. All we ask is that you don't use. Everything else, we'll get to it as it comes. See, most folk think that when you come in here, you know, everybody think they got a relapse story, for real. Everybody, you know, people that went back out, kept going back out and shit like that. You wasn't never just relapsing. The book says that we have never seen a person relapse who works this program. Who works the program? You get in here, if you ain't got a sponsor, you ain't start working no steps, you ain't start applying no principles, you ain't doing no service, you ain't thinking about nobody but your damn self, you have not started a recovery process. If you ain't got a recovery process, how can you relapse? It's reusing. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to come in here and I had to figure out what was really going on with me. I don't do a whole lot of other people inventories. Hell, you crazy? Be crazy. Shit, go. I can recognize other people crazy based on my own craziness. It don't take much for me to know a hoe. You a male whore? I'll know it because I've been a male whore. Ain't no, you know, most of what we see in him, we see it in you because we seen it in ourselves. We don't just be talking about your ass because you him. Shit. You just got him. That's why we talk about you. Shit, they did it to us when we got him. You know, and so you come in here and you just be grateful today that you didn't use. That's all you have to be grateful for today. You know, if you can't never, ever find nothing really, if you at a point where you think, you know, using is your only option, think about the fact that you're a drug addict. You say you're a drug addict and you ain't got nothing to be grateful for. If you ain't used today, you do. Any addict that can stay clean for just one day is a successful addict. That's what the books say. You know, and you don't have to believe a whole lot of what you hear here from other people. We got a book that tells you everything. But the key to that night, it was written by addicts. It was written by addicts for addicts. And it don't even talk about no active addiction. We bring active addiction into recovery. The basic text talks about recovery. Recovery. We share about active addiction. The book talks about recovery. So if you're here today and you're real glad to be here, I know I am. I'm glad. You know, I see old Marvin sitting here. I remember getting to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. He was a soldier back then. And I ain't breaking his anonymity. He's sitting right there. Hell, you know. You know how you be sometimes sharing and you talk about somebody, the first thing they want to say is you broke my anonymity. Ain't no damn anonymity in the rooms. The anonymity is for people outside the rooms. If I don't know who in the hell you is, Marvin, I wouldn't be ready to call your damn name. But anyway, he gave me the biggest hug I had ever received from a man. And I knew then something was different about finna go on, you know. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry if I got into your time there, but I love y'all. Thanks to the committee and everybody. Thanks for letting me share. I was looking in his face, so I would not.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be LaFrance from Durham.
Y'all gonna quit picking at my name. 5 times for real? Oh, yeah. For real though. Boy, you do have a lot. 5 different times. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. My name is LaFrance and I'm an addict. And I've been in this process for 23 years. Last Monday. You know, and I say that because it truly has been a process. It truly has been a process of gratitude and lack of gratitude. You know, I want to say first that my home group is spiritually focused in Durham, North Carolina. We meet from 10 to 12 every Sunday morning at Sherwood Park Apartments. So if y'all ever there, please stop by. And you're welcome. Right, Pearl? Mm-hmm. My sponsor is Karen P. from Chicago. Yes, she is. Mm-hmm. But you know, when they asked me to share. They gave me a choice. They say you can do the symbol, or you can do my gratitude speech, right? I said now, and I don't know why I chose. I said I don't want to do the symbol, but me and my sponsor just did the work around the symbol like a month ago. So I said, you know what? This is a laid-back convention. I just want to lay back. I don't want to do no work. I'm gonna do my gratitude speech because it's easy, you know, or I thought it was, you know. So I didn't give it like any thought. I said anybody can get up there and be talking about I'm grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my dog, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I called my sponsor, who is one of the deepest women I've ever met. You know, I called her, I said I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna do a little workshop on gratitude. What I tell her that for? Right. Then she get to talking about what gratitude really means. Right. You know what I'm saying? She starts talking about how you can't have gratitude without humility, that the two go hand in hand. And